What career seems to attract an unlikely amount of idiots, despite of being intellectually demanding? School administrators. I've been working in special education for about a decade now, and I've found that it unfortunately attracts a lot of complete idiots. Schools are usually so desperate for support staff they'll pretty much hire anyway. Shit. I think the first district I worked for lucked out with me, as being at the very least average. And based on my track record over the last decade. But the head of special education reached out to me after finding my job post on Craigslist. Back when you put "position wanted" ads in newspapers. I got a phone call from the school in the little town near me saying they had an opening for a teacher. Forget that I didn't have a degree, had no teaching experience, didn't major in the subject, and didn't want to be a teacher. They had a position open, and a class with no teacher. It's a scramble every year of teachers jumping ship from one school to another. And hiring new teachers who shouldn't even be in the field. I am a teacher. At the end of the last school year, our admin team told us to tell any parent that was good with kids to apply for a teaching job. Why did I pay for a master's degree? Same here lol. Studied like 6+ years just to be told in the end that someone untrained would be allowed to do the same job for a tiny bit less money. Finance really runs the gamut from super bright to dumb as a hammer. Finance is confusing on purpose, lots of acronyms, lots of numbers, and requires salespeople. That's a potent recipe for sneaking dummies into an intellectually demanding profession. The financial industry also creates new words and acronyms in order to increase the perceived complexity, which we can then justify fees because the consumer surely cannot do what we do. Sarcasm. I'm also jaded because I'm just tired of the financial industry and working an incredible amount of hours, and probably will quit and move into an easier profession and make 1/2 of what I do now. It's just like being in college again. The most intelligent people from the B school were almost always quiet and unassuming. The loud ones who spoke business and dressed like Jordan Belfort were always full of shit. Too bad that finance is one of those industries where being full of shit actually nets you stuff. I'm a freshman in business school RN. It's super stressful to hear all these loud people who talk about business and are super arrogant. I'm just quietly trying to learn what the fuck a business is. Nurses. I've had few amazing nurses, but most of the time, all the biggest bullies went to study nursing, and now there's an actual problem of workplace bullying in that field. When I went into labor, the first nurse I had to deal with was awful. She didn't believe my water broke, as I have a puddle of fluid flowing out of me. Then when she went to check to see how dilated I was, she couldn't locate my cervix and got super mad at me for it. It's not like I'm playing a prank and hid my cervix from you. Clearly your priority was to make her job harder. How dare she rearrange her insides? The audacity. All of them. People are dangerously adaptive, and even the dumbest with a will to live will manage somehow. I think it's because to excel in this world, it's not about being excellent, it's about doing what you're told. Also just being buddy-buddy with the higher-ups. I feel like a bigger reason I hate two-faced charismatic people isn't because they're two-faced. It's because having excellent social skills with no, limited moral compass means the world is their playground. You don't have to be smart or hardworking when you can charm anyone around you. After reading the comments, it's all careers. We are so overwhelmed by idiots that no career or corner of this planet is safe. But nurses seem to prevail as the most mentioned. So good luck with that information. The mediocrity of most people continues to astound me. It's frankly depressing. You know what's even more depressing? Being mediocre in a world that demands perfection and having all of Reddit go, yeah. Fuck those people. I'm totally not one of them. Only no one asked for perfection. I personally think that continuous improvement is a positive thing in general. Being proud of mediocrity, in my personal opinion, is sad. But simply because I think betterment, not perfection, is a good thing to aim for. Teaching. While I've had some great teachers, some were absolute trash. I had a teacher who once taught a CAP extension course, which was essentially volunteering for the community. I can't remember fully, but I think in order to be considered for the class, you had to have a certain GPA. Regardless, the class consisted of all students with decent grades. We all had a giant group term project that we had to initially present to the class. In total, there were 6 groups to present over a class and half. When it came time to present, our teacher, who I'll call Ms. Erin, said we would be grading our fellow classmates and their presentations. The first group was about to go up when she added in the fun little fact that we can only give one group 10 out of 10. One group 9/10, and so on. Well, as you can imagine, everyone flipped their shit. This was a class of high GPA earners. And telling them someone is going to get a 4/10 didn't sit well with anyone. Ms. Erin started threatening people with zeros if no one went up, which only caused further havoc. For the rest of the class, we just sat there all screaming at her while she screamed back at us. It was freaking mayhem. Obviously nothing was resolved as class ended. So we all just packed up our stuff and continued to talk about it for the rest of the day. The following morning, back we went to class, and instead of seeing Ms. Erin, we saw the teacher who started the class. Ms. Garfunkel. Ms. Garfunkel started to lay into us about respecting our teachers, and Ms. Erin is simply following the course outline. So if we don't like what is happening, we should see her and we shouldn't attack Ms. Erin. After her speech, a classmate ended up telling Ms. Garfunkel that we have no problem with the course. And it seems Ms. Erin has spun a wildly inaccurate story. He ended up outing everything that occurred the following day. The look of utter shock on Ms. Garfunkel's face was beyond was telling. She clearly was given some bullshit story by Ms. Erin. She excused herself. And for about 10 minutes we all just sat there. Before she re-emerged with Ms. Erin. Ms. Garfunkel apologized for everything and said that you will be grading your fellow students whatever grade you see fit, and if there are any problems, to come see her directly. As she walked out she side-eyed Ms. Erin hard. I hated her so much. For this, and also that she was upset I had missed a few days because I had two close relatives die a week apart. What a ride. Game development. In a college that offers it, and I've seen the most intelligent idiots around going for that major. And I'm one of the biggest intelligent idiots around. Yeah, I've seen this firsthand. I knew some people who wanted to go to that school in Seattle. Can't remember the name of it, but it basically feeds into Nintendo. A bunch of them were shocked that the application required them to do literally 1,000 plus drawings. The only guy that made it was the one who was ready to do those drawings and just did it with no complaint. Shocking, but game development is a lot of work. That's an easy one. Lots of gamers go on to school to become game devs. But lots of gamers are idiots. It's the same problem with new restaurant owners. People spend their entire lives going to restaurants as the customers and always experience the relaxed, stress-free atmosphere that comes with being served food. But never see the extreme level of labor and stress that goes into actually running a restaurant. Gamers always play games but will never ever understand the insane level of complexity of AAA games development. The dozens of departments all communicating, so goodbye all those antisocial Redditor types. The breakneck deadlines. The labor-intensive debugging. The monumental scale of making a game from scratch if it's a new IP. With the way gamers talk about game devs, you think half this stuff just pops in out of thin air. And then gamers have the gall to act like adding new content to a game is a simple task and that devs are just lazy or incompetent. I've seen some insane expectations over the decade I've been in online communities. Simple stuff like thinking making a new character skin only takes a few hours of work, because it's just art. Sorry for the rant, but gamers frustrates me. Greater than gamers always play games but will never ever understand the insane level of complexity of AAA games development. The dozens of departments all communicating, so goodbye all those antisocial Redditor types. The breakneck deadlines. The labor-intensive debugging. The monumental scale of making a game from scratch if it's a new IP. With the way gamers talk about game devs, you think half this stuff just pops in out of thin air. And then gamers have the gall to act like adding new content to a game is a simple task and that devs are just lazy or incompetent. I've seen some insane expectations over the decade I've been in online communities. Simple stuff like thinking making a new character skin only takes a few hours of work, because it's just art. Sorry for the rant, but gamers frustrates me. You fool. I've made a platformer in Scratch. If it's not obvious. Business management. Can confirm. Currently managing a business right now. And I am an idiot. Nurses. I've met a lot of really clever, friendly, helpful, and knowledgeable nurses. But for every one good nurse there's 5 fucking idiots where you're amazed they're considered literate. There's also a bunch of older nurses who have been doing it for 20 plus years and refuse to do any outside research, update their knowledge, and then try to give patients advice that can be proven to be terrible advice with 5 minutes on Google. Restaurant owners. Somehow the most I've met are either or a dick who does not like to sew what they do, or someone who does not know WTF he is doing. The problem is that so many people with absolutely zero qualification to open a restaurant somehow want to do exactly that. We quit our jobs and remortgaged our house to follow our dream of owning a restaurant. Despite neither of us having any experience in any related industry or any understanding of business or finance. We bought this place in a remote area and remodeled everything at a cost of $1 million and have done nothing to promote it, and for some reason the customers just aren't coming. Now we haven't paid any bills or taxes for the last 8 months and we've maxed out all our credit cards. Chef Ramsay. Please save our restaurant and our family. Obligatory overloaded menu scene. So what kind of food do you serve? Oh, we serve Mexican, Italian, Eskimo, American, Cuban, and bagel bites. Look at our 45-item menu. Obligatory. We don't label, date anything or store food as per FDA guidelines. Common sense. Jesus Christ. What the hell died in here? What is this? Well, that's either last month's meatloaf or one of our sponges. Think we can still serve that?